Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. And I'm trying to get this to work. I don't know why I don't change anything with this. I guess this works. Hold on, one of the things. And there I go. Crooked. I don't ever mess with this, and yet it always gets messed up somehow. No, don't go down. That's what she said. It's gonna have to be good enough. So I'm here to talk about Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampire. So I wasn't really excited for this one because it was announced that the production was moving from Canada to New Zealand, and with that, most of the cast was not coming back. In fact, only 4 cast members from the previous movies actually come back. And now we have an all-new cast of characters with backstories that don't really make sense. Makes even less sense within the context of the... It's a whole thing. But here's the situation. So there was that, and then the trailer came out, and I thought, okay, this looks like we're trying to push new characters. This looks like they're trying to do what they're doing with Descendants, which is move on with the new characters, but in this case, still keeping the characters we know. And our 4 returning characters are involved in the plot, but the plot really just involves these 2 different tribes of... They're not even both vampires. There's vampires and there's daywalkers, which are the same goddamn thing. For the purposes of this movie, daywalkers, I guess, are not vampires and can throw fireballs. And nightwalkers or vampires are vampires, but can also walk in the day. So why they're walkers, but they also can walk in the day. They're like, oh, it doesn't even hurt. I'm like, then what's the point? Yeah. And because we can't have vampires be vampires in a Disney movie, they don't drink blood. Instead, there's the blood fruit, which, a certain vampire who likes to say, oh, damn it, would get very mad, but he's not here right now. He's back in Romania, is Radu, because it's very similar to the Bloodstone. Well, they had the Moonstone in the last 2, and now, yeah, they do that here. So the story is that many moons ago, 2 Bloodstones crashed into these mountains. Or a Bloodstone crashed in the mountain, created 2 Bloodstones, whatever. 2 Bloodstones crashed into the mountain, and it was split the side in half. There was daywalkers and there was vampires. But daywalkers aren't vampires. At no point do they, But this created the blood fruit, which is what they feed off of. And now, all these years later, the blood fruits are starting to rot. They're not producing fruit, and they're warring against each other because that's what this franchise does. And you got the light side and the dark side fighting against each other, and one person from the light side, the girl, will end up meeting the other person from the dark side, the male, and they know they have a connection, and they might fall in love. And does that sound familiar to you? Yeah, that's the first movie. Only there's no Bloodstone, but still. I don't know. And our plot with our returning characters is that they're at Mountain College, as foretold at the end of the last one, but for some reason have spent no time with each other, despite the whole reason why they wanted to go to Mountain College so they would be together, but they haven't spent any time together because she wants to be cheer captain and he wants to be the captain of the football team. Despite the fact that they already were that in the previous movies, I guess now you gotta start all over again. Yeah, I know, it's kind of stupid. Their predicaments is they're not what they used to be, and they want to be that again. But so they're each going to separate camps, but they're all going in the same car with Willett and Eliza, who are the other two characters that returned. I know. Deeply disappointed Bucky wasn't here. I thought about this when I was watching the movie. Wouldn't it make more sense to have one representative from each tribe to try to prove that all these people are together, right? You have Zed for the zombies, Willett for the werewolves, Addison for the aliens, and Bucky for the humans. Makes sense, right? But no, Trevor Tordman was busy, apparently. They didn't... they're going all the way to New Zealand that they can't afford to fly everyone over there. So... yeah. So yeah. This movie frustrated me at times, but I thought it was okay. But it's clearly the worst of the four for me. I don't know. The songs didn't get me toe tapping like usual. Although, I'm watching this one. I end up watching it with my son because it's on Disney Channel tonight. It's going on Disney Plus tomorrow, which also has me worried. Like last time, they did Disney Plus first, then Disney Channel later, and there was no DVD release. But usually, when they're on the Disney Channel, there's a possibility of a Disney Channel first. There's a possibility of a DVD release. If they release this on DVD but not the third one, I'm gonna be pissed because I'm a completionist, so I want all of them. I'm just saying. And it goes without saying if we get the soundtrack. I still don't know what happened to my soundtrack for the third one. I don't know. That's really how I learned it. But there's no song that popped out here. Like in the first one, it was Fired Up that popped out for me and Someday. In the second one, it was I can't think of it now. I had it. It's Flesh and Bone. This is how we live in our lives. Living our lives. Yeah, that one. And then the third one was Exceptional Zed. So here there's not really one that pops out. But the songs are fine. But I find it for the constant string of when they get to a sequel that's a musical. It's one of those things where it feels like we're worrying more about the song. Like there's a point where they have to lift up this this tower that's on the roots, and so they're singing a song about it. I'm the kerosene or whatever the hell he's singing, but the whole thing is that he can't lift it up. And at one point he stops lifting to sing the song more and do this, and I'm just like, you should be lifting it. Why aren't you lifting it? You know? I don't know. But, yeah. So, we spend a lot of time on the backstory of the vampires and the Daywalkers. They hate each other. They're at war, and each side wants to go to this camp so they can get their own blood fruits, and they want it for themselves. So, yeah. Meanwhile, our characters are on the way to their own camps when there's a pulse that causes Zed's Z-Band to freak out, and they end up crashing the car and get separated. Addison ends up on the dark side, and Zed ends up on the light side. Yeah. And, of course, they see the zombie and go, "Vampire! Don't you know what the vampires look like? Do they have green hair? Do they smell like decaying, rotting flesh?" Well, probably. But, and he's like, "No, I'm a zombie." And they're like, huh? And like, So the vampires follow the scheme of having names that match their, to start with the letter of their tribe, right? So you have zombies start with Z, like Zed and Zoe, and Eliza has a Z in it. Bonzo, that sort of thing. But then there's the werewolves, Willa, Wyatt, Winter, and the aliens that start with A. Addison, which is, and the other, what, Aaron or something like that. I don't know. Aisha, I don't remember their names. But here you got names like Vera and Victor for the vampires, but the Daywalkers can have whatever they want, like Ray and Nova, because sun. I guess they're sun themed. Ray, Nova, get it. Her dad, Discount Carrie Elwes, wants all the fruit for themselves, and Victor's mom, I don't have a discount for her. At first I thought it was Carrie Elwes. Was that Carrie Elwes? No, but it looks like him. They couldn't afford Carrie Elwes in this. I don't think so. But, yeah, so they're each sent out to this camp thing, and they come across our characters, our other characters, and so our characters want them to work together, like, no, we don't do that, no. Even though our two leaders, that being Nova and Victor, are okay with it because they keep having visions of each other, so they're supposed to meet. Right. Meanwhile, this pulse keeps happening, and they need to stop it because that Z-band is deactivating each time. It also affects the werewolves thing, but not... It says it unites all monsters, but apparently the aliens won't be affected. But if it reaches Seabrook, which is never seen in the movie, by the way, then it will affect everyone there. The zombies will go nuts. If it deactivates the Z-bands, then wouldn't it cause the vampires to, or the werewolves to die? Or just cause them to wolf out more, I guess? I don't know. They need to find out the source. That will also help in these others. Yeah. So they find this gate that leads to the orchard, but they need 3 keys to get in. So eventually they find the keys. I'm not going to go word for word. 1 key is found. They fight over a little bit, but then the light side turns it. Then the other two, Nova and Victor, find the other one, and they get that in there, and it unlocks this giant ball. And so they said that your team needs to put it where it is. So you got the Daywalkers pushing one side, the vampires pushing the other side. But here's the thing. We find out that you have to push it to the side that has both the sun and the moon, or something like that. So, if, like, one team just, like, I don't know which team it was that was pushing it towards that, but if they let that go, they would have gotten it. But this has to be an hour and a half time, so, yeah. And you feel that, because with just over an hour of runtime, they get the gate open, and they go in, and then the respective other people show up. The Discount Carrie Elwes, the Victor's mom show up with more people because Ray and Vera have snitched. For being 2 different species, they're very similar. Snitched because Ray overheard, or they both overheard, like, it's supposed to be when they get to the orchard, they're both supposed to take it for each other. And Ray had it's bugging me. Ray was having a conversation with Nova, and Vera overheard it. So she went to talk. She went back to her people, and Ray went back to his people, which, for as long as it took them to get there, they were able to do that pretty fast. I should also mention during this whole thing, they find the cause of the ripple, whatever it is, the pulse. And it's because this tower has fallen on it. They fix the tower after a song, of course. But yeah. So this is where I got pissed, because it's very much, we have to make sure we can pad this out to an hour and a half. That's really what it feels like, because we are at the orchard. All we need to do is to have Zed and them give a big speech, and they get along. And that could be the end of the movie right there with an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, whatever. But no, we got to stretch this out. So instead, they can't get along. And we have established that the Daywalkers control fire, and the vampires control wind. So they start to fight each other in an orchard. And when the Daywalkers throw fire and the vampires throw wind, what do you think happens? It spreads the fire and burns the orchard. Ow. I got so pissed. I'm like, are you really that stupid? Are you that consumed with your hatred that you would not think like it's time for war? And it's like, no, come on. So now there's less fruit, and the pulse is back because now it's hurt again. Yeah, and Zed is the most affected by this because he's the one who's messed with the Z-Band, even though they fixed it in the first one. Because he keeps doing that thing in all of them. By all intents and purposes, Zoe should also be affected because she did it in the last one, and Eliza did it in the second one. So, apparently he does it the most. I don't know. But, yeah, so Zed is basically dying. And Will is starting to feel the effects. But she's dying, so Zed will turn into a full zombie and not... It's confusing. At one point, it feels like he's going to die, but then towards the end, it's like, if you deactivate it now, you'll be a full zombie forever. And I'm just like, but he won't die? So the plan is now, they realize that we're looking at the tower, that they have to get both moonstones, put them in there, and it will save the day. Only problem is the sides are still at war. So they sneak in, they get the moonstones, and when they go up there, the discount carry always and Victor's mom show up, and they start once again throwing fireballs and wind around at their own fucking children. And at one point, it breaks the ladder, and the dude keeps throwing fireballs. I'm like, dude, that's your daughter. Your daughter's up there. Then they stop. Zed fixes it by going full zombie, and the thing won't turn back on. And this is where we gotta throw in our mandatory reprise of Someday. Someday, this could be ordinary. Yeah, she sings it to him. It's a very quick one, though. It's not a full thing. And then they put the moonstones in there. It causes the rain to happen, and everything gets restored. And now they're going to work together. They realize they have to work together. And not Carrie always says, you would be a great leader. The same thing with Victor's mom. And yeah. And also the rain fixed the Z-Band. Because it cures all monsters, apparently. Makes me think of what happens if a zombie or a werewolf eats a bloodstone. or a blood fruit. See? Oh, damn it! Yeah, I woke him up. Wait, he's not here. He's in Romania. I said bloodstone. Somewhere in Romania is going, oh, damn it! No, a blood fruit. Yes. So, yeah. So our heroes leave them to their own world. They're gonna go, instead of going to their camps, they're gonna go to Seabrook, and we got a reprise of Ain't No Doubt About It from the third one. That one had me smiling. It started and it's kind of slow, and then you hear "You and Me for the rest of our lives together." I went, okay, you got me. A song I actually knew, besides Someday, but no. But we got to set up for a next one, right? So we get a cliffhanger that I fucking predicted. Because at the end of the third one, so just so you know, I watched all three of the previous ones in preparation for this. At the end of the third one, they got all the monsters in Seabrook, right? It says, welcome vampires, but in the water, it's mermaids. So, after we have the reprise, ain't no doubt about it, we get Nova and Victor, and they're like celebrating that their tribes are going to be together, and they hug, and then a big whirlpool tidal like thing comes out of the water, and they stare, and it ends. And I went, mermaids, because that's the next logical step, and that, you know, because it was predicted as foretold. You know. But yeah. Although that welcome vampires thing at the end of the third one, I'm pretty sure they were gonna have them show up in Seabrook, but I'm sure the budget was lower and they had to film somewhere else, you know, New Zealand, like Power Rangers did, because it's cheaper. So hopefully if the fifth one is the last one, because I don't remember any other creatures showing up, but yeah. Mermaids makes sense for the fifth one and possibly final. Although I am concerned that this teaser, this cliffhanger ended with the vampire and the daywalker and not our characters, but hopefully it means that they're going to go find our characters for help. Because Addison and Zed are the main characters of this franchise that need to be in all of them. Don't try to spin it off like you did Descendants. Because I just want to watch the fourth one. I said, oh, new Descendants is coming out, and I'm watching the trailer, and I go, this ain't it. You should. And then another one, I'm just like, if you're not going to keep the characters we know, then don't even try. I mean, I could have said that about X-Men. X-Men First Class is very good. But they are still characters we know. We know Professor Xavier, we know Magneto. They're not totally new characters. Beast, Mystique, we know those characters. But these are entirely new characters. So I guess that's why First Class is up front. But it's like, I don't know. And you can go Jurassic World, I guess, introduce new characters, but I don't know. It's just because those actors moved on. But I still think we have some time with these actors that keep coming back. And yeah. So overall, I liked it. I'm gonna give it a high middle of the road. I'm gonna give it a high middle of the road. I thought it was fine. The other three were better, in my opinion. But it's fine. It's keeping that message of everyone's got to get along, you know. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires? Why is this the only one with a subtitle? I don't know. What's the next one? Rise of the Mermaids? And if that ends up being the name, called it. Copyright Scotty 2025. So let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.